What's going on? It's Michael with Walk the Path. I'm here with Missy Tyszkiewicz with Hyde. She's the owner of the yoga studio here in Hyde Park. And we're here to talk today a little bit about her experience with the yoga studio, her experience in yoga, and also talk a little bit about her story and a little bit about what it takes to make changes in your life. So I've been coming to Hyde for a little bit over a year now, a year and a couple months.
At least, yeah.
And this has been just such a great avenue for me to make a lot of changes in my life. So I wanted to reach out to Missy and do an interview and bring her to you so that everybody else can taste a little bit about what happens here. So if you wouldn't mind, just talk about your experience so far with Hyde and yoga, and just kind of an overview of why yoga is important for people.
Gosh, that's a pretty encompassing question. That's a lot. That's like you're asking for the universe in a nutshell. So I started yoga a little more than 11 years ago because I had a very broken body.
Okay.
And I kind of always, my path just kept kind of taking me to yoga, and I would try it. I tried it in my early 20s, and it just didn't resonate. And I just kept coming back to it over the years because there was something about it that just appealed to me just on a deeper level. And so by the time I hit my mid-30s, I had a couple of kids, serious back injury for probably 12, 15 years.
Wow.
And I finally decided, this is crazy. I want to participate in life.
Sure.
I don't want to be in a wheelchair. So I came back to yoga, and I finally found a style that really resonated with me. And a lot of it was based on empowerment and on being your absolute best self. And it became, for me, instantly a moving meditation. And so I walked away from the practice, not just with my body feeling amazing, because there was times when my body did not feel amazing because of, I was working through all of the injury and all of the weakness that was in my body. But my being felt amazing. Like I just was calm, and there was a lot of things to it. And I didn't really get it at the time, but all I knew was that I felt fantastic. So I stayed with it, and I stayed with it. And I just had such enthusiasm and love for it, and it just was healing me in such an amazing way that I became an advocate for yoga. And I would go around and tell everybody, you gotta try this, you gotta try yoga, you gotta try yoga, you gotta try yoga. And they would say, yeah, but we're really fit, and we don't do yoga. And I was like, no, just come to my house and I'll show you how to do yoga, because it's harder than you think. And so I kind of ended up being a teacher just because of my enthusiasm and my love of the practice. And then from there I thought, okay, people started coming to my house and they liked it, and they kept coming. And so I figured, well, now it's time to actually get some training and know what I'm talking about a little bit more. And so I ended up kind of falling into teaching yoga. And then when I lived in Michigan at the time, and then I moved to Cincinnati, and I had been teaching yoga for a couple years. And when I moved here, my mantra was that if I can't find it, I will create it. And I didn't try every place, but I tried some places around me, and I taught at some places, and it just never really quite fit in because my style was so different than what was happening at the time. And so I finally decided, I'm just going to create my own space, because I want to create a community of people that really are enthusiastic and love yoga in the way that I love yoga, and where I can bring my style and my love of empowerment to the people in my classes. And so I started the studio 5 years ago with no students, none at all, just on faith that people would come. And 5 years later, here we are. We're still here.
Quite a lot of people that come to
We have an amazing community, and I've been lucky enough to have people like you who come in who become seekers. So what we really have a lot of is a lot of spiritual warriors here. People who are really seeking something greater. They're walking the walk. They want to, they want some help along the path, and they're not just showing up for the aspects of the physicality, which is fantastic, but for the aspects of the spirituality and the philosophy and the ability to start to step into your best self and move into your best life. Because that is what I want for my students more than anything, is for them to see themselves the way that I see them, through my eyes, which is amazing, powerful, whole people that just need to shed all the stuff that's gotten in the way of them, going out and changing the world.
Right on. Right on. So more on your individual journey. What has helped you along the way to keep going when things exactly didn't look right, or maybe you hit some, oh no moments, so to speak?
A lot of those, yeah.
Maybe label it a different phrase, but
yes. Firstly, I think when I finally found my teacher, and I've had many teachers on the path, the one who really got me started on the path was Baron Baptiste. And I connected with his style.
Baron Baptiste, who is that?
Baron Baptiste he's been around yoga for a really, really, really long time.
Okay.
He is a phenomenal teacher. His studios are based out of Boston, but he's really international. He kind of travels everywhere. So I always travel to go practice with him when I have a chance to go study. But I started out with him doing his DVDs, and then reading his books, and then moving into yoga journal, and then taking in other power yoga teachers. Because power yoga is what I do, and it's not that I don't love all the other styles, and I do on occasion go to practice, Ashtanga and Anusara and Yin and Hatha and all these other beautiful styles. But power is in there. It just speaks to my being, because I am also, competitive. A little bit more on the athletic end of it, where I enjoy the physical challenge of it. So many times I've had many injuries. A lot of it is just because I have, really old injuries that finally came out. And pushing my own buttons. I like to push my edge and see how far I can go. But there'll be moments on your path where you'll pause, and there'll be lots of roadblocks that come up, and that's part of the path, is working through those roadblocks. And so whenever I would get away from yoga for too long, I noticed that I'm not as connected, I'm not as grounded, I'm a little shorter, my temper, I'm not as peaceful. I'm just not as peaceful. And I don't like how I feel. I'll be like, I really need to go back to yoga, because this for me it's meditative. It's my moment to pause and to just stop everything that's going on around me, to step out of the chaos and step into what's happening right now. Because everything else doesn't matter. It's really about right now. So when we come into our practice, we step into our bodies, we step into the moment of being here now. And when you're here now and you become fully present, then answers will come for you. Everything becomes more clear, there's more, it just flows easier, and you're not swimming upstream. So that's kind of what has brought me back on many occasions, even though I've been injured and it hasn't necessarily been because of the yoga that I've been injured. Sometimes it's because of my lack of wisdom about where I should go, stubbornness.
Sure.
But I always come back because this speaks to my soul. It makes me the best person that I can be.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. So if somebody is thinking about pursuing something or making a drastic shift, is it worth it? Is it worth
Totally
it to
worth it.
take the risk?
Totally take the risk, because what are you waiting for? There's, I always like to use in my classes the analogy of being on the court or being in the stands. Do you want to sit in the stands and cheer on everybody else living? Or do you want to get out there on the court and make your own mistakes? And there's so much more energy in just getting on the court and just making your own mistakes. Because anybody can sit back and judge other people. But yeah, it's very easy to sit back and judge others. But there's no power in that. There's no joy in judging other people. The joy is in stepping into your own unique self, your own unique power, your own unique ability to influence the world in a beautiful way. Because that's what everybody has. It's not reserved for a couple of, unique individuals. Everybody has the power to go out and be amazing. And they just need to see it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell me this, what is one either quote or phrase or word that kind of describes you in a nutshell?
It describes me in a nutshell.
Again, trying to fit the,
I know. One of my favorite things, I don't know if it describes me, but it's one of my favorite quotes is be the change that you wish to see in the world. And it's that simple. Like if you want to see something, be that. And I have like so many favorite quotes. It's terrible. But my teacher, Baron, says this all the time, and it totally resonates with me on so many levels. And it is, I can't hear what you're saying because who you're being speaks so loudly. And I think that a lot of times people are so busy giving lip service to how you should be, or all this great stuff. Like I'm so enlightened, I'm so this, I'm so that. But yet their being is saying so many different things. And it's like, just like walk your path. Be who you want to be. And then you don't need to say anything. People will know who you are based on your actions. And that to me is amazing. And then if I could say like a couple of words, like just words that I am about in my being and that I am about in my life. And one is empowerment. I just love the aspect of lighting somebody else's candle so that they can go out and shine in the world. Integrity. Integrity is huge for me. If I say that I will do it, I expect myself to do it. I've made a commitment, and there is an integrity that happens with that. And when I come onto my yoga mat, I'm going to hold my alignment to the absolute best of my ability, because there's integrity in that.
Sure.
It's like you don't just show up and do something 50%. You show up with 100% all the time. No matter whether your 100% is really low that day, or your 100% is like, maybe it's 150% on a regular day. It's going to vary what your 100% is. But 100% means you just fall into the actions that you're creating all the time. And then the third word that I would use for myself is authenticity. Being authentic is just really important for me. And I like to be the same person out there when I am here. I don't want there to be a distinction, like I walk through the door and then I put on my yoga-ness and I teach a class and then I walk out the door and I become Missy. I want to be Missy out there and Missy in here. So for a lot of people, that's a very different approach to teaching yoga. Because, I don't always use yogic words, but I'm always the same. Like who I am when I walk in the door is how I would teach the class.
Sure.
And if I am like low that day, then the class will be taught from that standpoint. It'll be, whatever that I need to shift so that I can give you what you need. But yeah. That's it's just how I like to roll.
That's fantastic. And one last thing. Tell me something that's goofy or quirky about you that you do that maybe not a whole lot of people would know.
Oh my gosh. I'm not goofy or quirky at all.
Or something out of order.
What do I do? I don't know. Gosh, that's so.
Or something in your daily routine that
Something
you
in
do
my
that
daily routine. You
might be
know,
helpful for people.
people who practice here actually already know this about me, but I sing lots of stuff while I'm walking around talking. I'll just start singing in the middle of my talking because it just, I don't know, it's to me.
Likes
like,
to break into song.
I do like to break into song a little bit. And it's like, even if I'm like in a sentence, I like sing the end of it because it's just like, oh yeah, I'm connecting to my lightness, to my joy. Because, you know, if you take yourself super seriously, then you're really heavy. And, you know, oh, you want people to take you seriously. Okay, that's great, but why? What's the point of that? So that is kind of what I do. So people who know, like how I always like sing Shavasana all the time. And when, you know, when we get there, people just kind of laugh. I'll have moments where I sing while I'm teaching. But I do that in my everyday life too. Like I walk around and I do that, my kids are just like, wow, okay, whatever. But that's probably like the silliest thing that I do. I do like to like jack myself upside down a lot at home too. My kids are used to seeing like me upside down doing something, working on something, and they're just like, whatever. But yeah, just, you know, I like to be in the enjoyment of life. This life is too short to sit here and be serious and not enjoy it. What are you here for if not to really enjoy being alive?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
You know, if you're watching this, you're on the path anyway. So stay the course, stick with it. Even when it gets tough, and there's going to be times when you have setbacks, for sure. I've had more setbacks in my yoga practice than probably forward movement. But stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Because a breakthrough is almost always after a breakdown. So don't let the breakdown take you out of the game. Know that on the other side of a breakdown is just something really amazing, and there's a breakthrough, and it's coming.
Awesome. Well, again, this is Michael. I'm here with Missy with Move Your Hyde. Feel free to check out our classes if you're in the Cincinnati area, whether in Hyde Park or downtown.
Or on podcasts. We have podcasts on iTunes.
Podcast as well.
Yeah.
That's another way to check her out. She's got really good stuff. So thanks again.
Oh, thanks a lot.
See you, everybody.
Peace, peeps.